If you have just been told you have a fibroid and your brain has quietly gone into a panic mode, pause this worry for 10 minutes and stay with me. Checking fibroid size alone isn't enough. If you have just discovered fibroids or you are already navigating treatment, this guide shows you exactly what to check on your ultrasound, smart homeworks before seeing your doctor, key questions to ask, essential blood tests, and when to choose conservative care, medication or surgery, or the latest minimally invasive options like focused ultrasound therapy. Many of our patients have managed their fibroids and returned to hill holidays, trekking, family life, and career wins without missing a bit. But too often, people lose months and hefty sums struggling for quality life simply from lacking the right plan for their fibroids. Today, we are sharing our clinic's tried and tested formulas requested by patients worldwide from New York to Tokyo, Sikkim to Sundarbans. Follow this step-by-step structure and you will move forward with calm confidence. No guesswork needed. Number 1. Ultrasound report. When your fibroid first shows up on ultrasound report, start by checking 3 simple but important things. Make sure your name, age and address on the report are correct. It sounds obvious, but you would be surprised how many mix-ups happen. Note down the size of the fibroid and always remember it's measured in centimeters. Find out the position of the fibroid. Fibroids can usually be found in 3 different positions inside the uterus. We have actually covered this in detail in another post because each position has got its own set of symptoms. If your ultrasound report does not mention the number, size and FIGO position of your fibroids, you will need to repeat the ultrasound. Without that key information, your doctor simply won't be able to plan an accurate treatment. And here is a small pro tip. Dig out your old ultrasound reports, dust them off and bring them along to your appointment. Arrange them by date in a Cobra file. This helps your doctor compare the old images with the later one to see whether your fibroids have grown, shrunk or stayed the same. A little organization can go a long way in speeding up your treatment plan. Number 2. Your homework before seeing the doctor. Before your appointment, jot down your symptom data, organize your reports. First, primary symptom data. Note your period dates and patterns. Write clearly which days you had the bleeding over the last 6 months and how long it lasted. You can use your menstrual chart, link below. Mobile app notes often miss the details. Also, note how fibroids have affected your daily life, work, energy, mood and routine. You won't recall every date in the clinic, so write it down before visiting doctor. These 3 months of cycle data will guide your doctor's treatment plan. Second, non-gynecological symptoms. Some fibroids show no symptoms, but others cause issues beyond periods. Note things like frequent urination, heaviness in the lower abdomen, or changes in bowel habits. Write the exact days they occurred. Also mention if you often rush to the toilet or feel sudden urgency. Track that too. These small but specific details can reveal a lot about how your fibroid is affecting your body. Third, organize medications and reports. Carry all your medicines prescribed or not. Include supplements or herbal products, even those nice green bottles on your shelf. Some may contain hidden hormones that can worsen fibroids. Bring tablet wrappers on containers if you have them. Lastly, carry both your last and older ultrasound reports arranged by date. It helps the doctor to see how your fibroids have changed and decide the next step faster. Your pre-doctor study preparations. Before you meet your doctor, a little homework helps a lot. First, the disguised fibroids. More than a dozen conditions can mimic fibroids. Sometimes even if your ultrasound mentions them as fibroid, it might actually be something else. Read up those before your visit. The Fibroid Masterclass link is below. Quality of life check. Even if you don't have heavy bleeding, think about how fibroids are affecting your daily life. Are you tired, low on energy, or anemic? Check your hemoglobin and serum iron. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate how much your lifestyle has been disrupted. Sharing this honestly helps your doctor tailor treatment that actually fits your life. Thinking ahead. Most fibroids are benign, not cancerous. But it is wise to plan for the long term. If you keep your fibroids and treat it conservatively, will it cause issues later on when you age more? Watch or read our fibroid masterclass and related videos beforehand. Going in informed help you discuss treatment options confidently and make the best decisions for yourself. Additional info. Your doctors will ask more than just fibroid related questions. Be ready to mention any other health issues and family history or comorbidities. That includes any gynecological or breast problems in the family and even prostate, gallbladder or stomach issues amongst relatives. Share if you have got blood pressure problems, chronic stress, or if lack of exercise has led to weight gain, all of which can influence fibroid growth. Based on your details and scans, your doctor will outline whether you will need conservative care, tablets, or surgery. A final plan comes after all tests are done. So the clearer your preparation, the faster you will get there. 3 questions you must ask your doctor. Question number 1, red flags. Most fibroids are benign, but still ask your doctor if your scan or symptoms show any red flag signs that might need extra attention. It is better to know early than to worry later. Number 2, hidden second problems. Check if your doctor suspects any other gynecological issues besides fibroids, such as endometriosis, adenomyosis, or problems with the uterus lining or endometrium. If these go unnoticed, fibroid treatment alone won't fully heal you. Remember, the uterus has got 2 main layers. Fibroids grow in the muscle layer, outside layer, but bleeding can also happen if the inner lining or the endometrium is affected. Often, everyone's focus lands on the fibroid seen on the scan, and the hidden issue elsewhere gets missed. After 40, it is especially important to discuss endometrial health. Whether you need an MRI. Usually, ultrasounds are enough for both initial and follow-up checks. But in some cases, an MRI scan gives you far clearer results. It is costlier and less accessible, so doctors don't suggest it straight away. Still, if your situation is complex, MRI can reveal important information that helps you and your doctors make better treatment decisions. Blood tests. Blood tests are generally divided into 2 parts. A. Checking for anemia. The first step is to check your hemoglobin and serum iron levels. This shows whether you have anemia now, if you have had it before, or you are at risk of developing it in near future. If your fibroids doesn't cause bleeding, anemia usually shouldn't be a concern. Your doctors may also order a creatinine test to see how well your kidneys are working. Larger fibroids can sometimes press on nearby organs, making it harder for urine to pass from the kidneys. Creatinine levels are also checked before doing an MRI scan. Next, marker tests. These are specific marker tests that help doctors check if there is any sign of malignancy hiding behind a fibroid. These tests are advised when fibroids grow rapidly in size or number, or if large ones suddenly shows up. Although not always 100% accurate, markers like LDH, CO125 and HE4 can still guide the overall treatment direction and help rule out serious concerns. Follow-up based treatment. Sometimes the best treatment is simple follow-up. That means no medicines for now. Just focusing on diet and lifestyle changes while monitoring whether the fibroid shows any growth potential. Oral medications rarely shrink fibroids in the long term, so many cases this approach is completely scientific. Just ask your doctor how often you will need ultrasound scans and who should perform them. Whenever you are on the follow-up plan, it is smart to get all your ultrasounds done by the same ultrasonographer each time. Not just the same hospital or building or clinic, but the same person. When 2 different people do your scans, the results can vary slightly, something doctors call inter-observer variability. That small difference can make comparison very tricky. And here is a gentle reminder, don't panic if the fibroid size changes by a few millimeters between scans. Tiny variations are normal. Some patients get so fixated on those numbers that it starts affecting their peace of mind. Focus on a bigger picture. Your overall health and progress matters far more than a few millimeters here or there. Treatment with medicine. If your doctor prescribes medicine for fibroids, make sure you clearly understand that what each medicine is for. Which one treats anemia or symptoms and which truly aims to shrink the fibroid. It truly helps if you remember the generic names of your medications. Otherwise, when you visit different doctors, you might see new brand names on your prescription and think the treatment has changed. In reality, you could be taking the same drug under a different brand name. A bit of research goes a long way. You'll soon see that tablets and injections for fibroids are not very effective for long-term treatment. Our Fibroid Masterclass covers the latest research on what science actually says about these medications. Well worth a look before you start or switch your plan. When treatment leads to surgery, there are different types of surgeries for fibroid. In some cases, the doctor removes only the fibroids or multiple fibroids while keeping the uterus intact. This is called a myomectomy. In others, the entire uterus along with the fibroids may need to be removed. Each option comes with its own advantages and considerations. Before deciding, have an open chat with your doctor. Understand which surgical plan best matches your preferences, safety needs, and what current science recommends. This helps you make a confident choice without unnecessary risks. Also ask whether waiting for too long could let the condition take a different turn. The goal is simple: the right treatment at the right time for your peace of mind and long-term health. Local treatments without removing the fibroid. There are several modern therapies that treat fibroids from within the body, such as MR-guided focused ultrasound therapy or MRGFUS, uterine artery embolization or UAE, and even newer methods using viruses or bacteria Clostridium histolyticum for targeted local treatment. Many people think that these are complete alternative to surgery, but that is not entirely true. Each therapy has its own pros and cons, and as an informed patient, you should know them clearly before choosing. Before going ahead, ask your doctor whether you will still be able to plan a pregnancy later. These treatments are done without biopsy, so understanding the risks of future complications is essential. Also find out whether to seek immediate help if after treatment you experience pain or bleeding due to fibroid necrosis, that means tissue breakdown. Being prepared makes the whole process far safer and less stressful. Last but not the least, this step-by-step tutorial is based on international guidelines from various countries. To make complex ideas easier, I have oversimplified a few parts, but the essence remains true to science. These often overlooked guidelines are essential for every modern patient like you to know. The goal behind all of them is same: to ensure that no one mistakes a stump, sarcoma or similar uterine tumor disguised as a fibroid for a harmless one, and to help you avoid repeated surgeries through informed decisions. Science has created 3 smart filters or screening to prevent such medical errors. Missing even one could lead you down the wrong path. Screening filter number 1. New fibroids cannot appear after menopause. So, if one develops or keep growing post-menopause, it deserves a closer look. Discuss this in detail with your doctor to rule out anything else hiding in disguise. Screening filter number 2. If your surgery involves morcellation, a device that breaks fibroid into smaller pieces inside your tummy, ask your doctor about it. The FDA has issued alerts on this, as morcellation can spread hidden malignancy if present. Even when benign, it might lead to uncommon conditions like disseminated leiomyomatosis. Though uncommon, every patient has got the right to know and take precautions about them. Screening filter number 3. If you are over 40, talk to your doctor beforehand to ensure no second gynecological issue is hiding behind the fibroid. Knowing this early makes treatment decisions clearer and help you avoid unnecessary medical detours. That's all today. See you soon with another research article. Please don't forget to comment down below which one helped you the most.